Hey guys, today I'm checking out the Intel Pentium D, and for the very first time. Back in my upgrade history was a Pentium 4 running at 2.6 GHz, then I built a socket 754 with a cheap Sempron processor that I overclocked to 2.4 GHz, and after that I got a Core 2 Duo E6600. But I skipped the Pentium D, which is basically a dual-core Pentium 4 with the net burst architecture. So I usually do a bit of research when I work with parts that are new to me, and there are basically two types of Pentium Ds. The first Pentium Ds come with the older Smithfield core. They all have 800 model numbers. These are built on the older 90nm process and come with a TDP of up to 130 watts, so you better have a decent air cooler or even use an AIO. Smithfield Pentium Ds have 1 MB of level 2 cache per core, and there is one large die which contains both cores. Later, the newer Pentium Ds came with the Pressler core, and they have 900 model numbers. These are built on the newer and smaller 65nm process. The TDP is lower. For example, the D0 revisions have a TDP of only 95 watts. Pressler Pentium Ds have 2 MB, so double of level 2 cache per core, and each core has its own die, so there are two physical dies rather than one large one. So there are a ton of Pentium Ds available. One cool aspect of this retro PC gaming hobby is that everything is well documented and we can pick the good parts. I went with the D945. This one is based on the Pressler core. It's clocked at 3.4 GHz, which is the same clock speed as the single core Zeta mill that we looked at recently. This will let us do some nice clock for clock comparisons to see how the second core affects the performance in games. We are also including the results of the highest clocked single core Pentium 4, which runs at 3.8 GHz. We continue using the same test system as in the previous Pentium 4 videos. We have a MSI motherboard, the P35 Neo 2, we've got the ATI Radeon X 1800 XT, 4 GB of RAM in dual channel configuration. There's a Cooler Master Hyper TX3 Evo for cooling. We've got a Sound Blaster Audigy RX, a SSD for Windows and games, and also a 500 watt power supply. Let's have a look at some benchmarks. We're starting with 3D Mark. The blue bar is the Pentium 4 3.4 with the Zeta mill core. The orange bar is the Pentium 4 3.8 with the Prescott 2M core. And the gray bar is the Pentium D with the 3.4 GHz Pressler core. And we can see that the Pentium D is able to almost be at the performance level of the faster 3.8 GHz Pentium 4. And we can see the same thing in Far Cry running at ultra details. Now the Pentium 4 3.4 with the Zeta mill core does have hyper-threading, but the second core on the Pentium D makes all the difference, and it performs just as fast as the much higher clocked 3.8 GHz Pentium 4. In Doom 3 with ultra quality, we don't get quite the same picture. We get a slight boost in performance with the second core at 3.4 GHz, but the Pentium 4 with a single core running at 3.8 GHz is still the fastest. We can see the same picture in Halo Combat Evolved. The Pentium D with the second core at the higher resolutions, we can see it performs a little bit better than the Pentium 4 with a single core, but once again, the higher clock speed of the 3.8 GHz model takes the win. And I've added another game. I got quite a few comments about adding Fear. Here we have the game running at maximum details, but I've disabled anti-aliasing and soft shadows, and this is another game that benefits from the second core. Once again, the Pentium D 3.4 is almost as fast as the much higher clocked 3.8 GHz Pentium 4. And now we're going to have a look at some games. They all run at 1280 by 1024. Fraps is telling us the FPS, and I'll put the title and some other information down below on the screen.
motherfucker, man.
Fries go with that shake. About time, man.
I'm not inadequate. What?
Come on, dude, move. Hey, no way there's the bar around here.
Move out of the way!
Damn. You got a clip.
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
Grove Street. Home. At least it was before I fucked everything up.
Well. Once again, excellent work. As part of our required test protocol, we will not monitor the next test chamber. You will be entirely on your own. Good luck.
I think they may be keeping Val in the old carrier refueling station. You're going to have to check it out up close, I'm afraid.
Carrier?
Yes, the Japanese Navy beached one of their light carriers on this island during World War II. Refueling station.
This whole deal gets stranger by the minute.
You don't know that happened. Just be careful.
So guys, we've looked at a few of the faster net burst processors recently, and we can clearly see that we have hit a wall in terms of performance. There are a few faster processors still available, especially the Extreme editions, and we will check them out at some time in the future. But I'm getting a lot of comments from you about the Core 2 Duo, and I also want to see how these Pentium 4s and the Pentium Ds compare against the first round of Core 2 processors. I've got most of the models ready to go. I'm just waiting for the E6300 to arrive. That is the slowest launch Core 2, and find out how it stacks up against the net burst processors. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you had a Pentium D, please share your story, let us know what you think, and the usual YouTube stuff. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Give it a like, share it with your friends, and click on that notification bell to get all the future updates. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you soon with another one.